of sarcasm, innuendo, and bring it in another way, and it's really affecting the morale of staff. And I think to a certain extent, it's creating disharmony with our council, and I don't know how to stop that stuff.
Well, again, I'm not sure that you can stop it. You can manage it.
Yeah.
Right. Jeff, did you have anything that you wanted to say about
No, I agree with what I'm hearing. It may help for Bill to give an example of where he believes do this, because you know, staff would never bring forward something and purposely report something that's false. If that's true, then you really have a problem.
Yeah, you do.
Do we get things wrong sometimes? Absolutely, and that's just the nature of there's a lot of information. But I think what Bill's talking about has some subtle differences to what he's talking about, how he wants to verify.
Okay, so Bill, do you want to elaborate?
Well, you know, I've seen reports, you know, and I really didn't want to get specific, and I agree with you when you say that council has to have complete trust and confidence in your city manager, because he is, or a CEO at the RDM, because they are our only employee. So when reports come through that are vague on information, and I, you know, the one that I would like to give is one that came out of the RDM, where there were multiple questions that were not asked. And I then sent out an email to council saying, after the vote, I sent out an email to council, said, you know, there's a number of questions in this report that were not answered, that I have great difficulty with. And I think we should take a long, hard look at reconsideration of this motion before time goes too far.
Right.
And I never even got a reply from the council.
So they didn't share your point of view?
This is on an RDM.
RDM.
Yeah. Well, remember, the bill does not sit on the RDM.
But I was there that
that's
right. But I was there that night.
Right.
And I was there at the request of an absent member.
No.
And the one item that was on the agenda was that one. And he said, I'm in favor of it. So do I take my own views there, or do I take the members' views who I'm sitting for?
Right. So those are two separate questions.
Correct.
Just on the first question, let's just say, you have totally legitimate concerns about the information you received on an item, and you don't feel comfortable with the amount of information you have and the decision that you might have to be making, right? Totally legitimate. Your job then is to do exactly what you did. Try to persuade the other people around the table to share your point of view. Now, for whatever reason, they didn't share it. And I can assume that the vote went ahead and perhaps you felt unheard, right? But that is your job, exactly what you did. You have some concerns, you communicate them with those people around the table, and you attempt to persuade them that your point of view is the best point of view, in the hopes that they will vote with you. And because what you would want to do in a case like that is make a case, make an argument that I don't have enough information to make this decision. I think we need more information here, and I think we should send this back to staff to address these questions. And persuade the majority of the people who haven't voted yet, and they would vote along with you. The report would go back to the staff. That's how this government works.
So my question then is, when you send something like that out to your council, your fellow members, and they go along with the mayor's statement earlier, once it's been voted on, it's done, and they believe in that, and you're not given the time of day, you don't even get a single response. That's frustrating.
Oh, I mentioned it's really frustrating. Yeah, I agree. So what might you have done? You might have sent another email and said, I really think this is important, and I'd like you to hear me out. That might work. They just might not agree with you. And now it might have been good for them to have said, we hear what you're saying, but we have another point of view. That might have been the polite way to deal with that, so that it's just not silence, because of course the silence is worse than a negative response, probably. So, yeah, but it sounds to me like you communicated your point of view, which is exactly what you should
after John just said, or just said that once a decision is made, it's a standing decision by the council as a whole. This past weekend, we were at the AICC, and we had put forward a motion with regard to the cell phones, which John pulled. It was never discussed. Councillor McKay had agreed to speak to that resolution on behalf of our city, because we put forward the resolution.
Right.
But he was going to speak in opposition to it.
Yeah.
And I just sort of went, why does he do it? Why would he do that? When we, the council, had made the decision and were bringing it to the next level,
Yeah.
that made me feel a bit awkward, that we would be viewed as a very divisive council, and we had to come to this decision as a, and in the end, it was pulled. But it was going to make me feel very awkward had he done that.
Yeah, I mean, you understand that, and, you know,
You didn't vote in favor, but it was passed.
you know, you hope that at the end of the day, people will see the value of the other views around the table. Sometimes that doesn't happen. You really have to give people the freedom to speak, but not to drag things on endlessly, which is really what you're talking about, once a decision is made. But, you know, I think it's a bit unusual. But, you know, if Councilor McKay wants to have his voice heard, then, you know, you just have to say, you know, there's a diversity of opinion around the table. Don't forget, diversity is a strength, not a weakness, right? There's a diversity of opinion around the table, and it's not, it doesn't have to be bitter or angry disagreement. It's just different points of view, and that's not a bad thing. It's when it becomes destructive and sort of circles the drain that it's very, yeah.
So on that whole question, I voted that it can, and